Hello and welcome to another episode of Geared Toward Gear. My name is Sean and I am so glad you're here. Today's the day. It is the first annual, maybe last annual, EDC pen extravaganza. Thank you for joining me. So I did a video not too long ago talking about this pen right here, the Zebra F701, which I claimed was the best pen that human minds and hands had ever produced. And I still love the pen, but I decided I wanted to do an extravaganza, a showcase, and talk about a number of different options that you could consider if you were looking for a budget-friendly EDC pen. And the name of the game here is budget-friendly. So I asked for some recommendations. I got a few, and I did buy some of the ones that were recommended and bought a couple others and just kind of grabbed some that I had lying around, and we ended up with 12 contenders. So they're currently in order from cheapest, least expensive on the left to most expensive on the right. We'll talk a little bit about each pen. I'll give you a quick kind of writing demo on each pen, and that'll kind of be it. And you can decide for yourself if any of these appeal to you. I think pens for EDC are very common for a lot of people. As I mentioned in my last video about pens, I'm not really a pen guy in that I don't really get into the super high-end stuff, the really expensive stuff. So for me, like $20 and under is kind of where I'm at for pens, and all of these land in that range, or at least they did when I made the purchase. So let's start from left to right and just tell you what we're looking at. So we've got the Polka Pen. Next to it in gold is the Zebra F301, then the Zebra F402, the Zebra F301 Compact, the Zebra SL-F1 Mini, the Zebra F-701, the Tombow Air Press, the Parker Jotter, the Zebra X-701, the Caran d'Ache, the Fisher Space Pen, and the Rotring 600. So a few quick shout outs because 3 of these were recommended in the comments of my last video, and I bought them on those recommendations. So JD Shadow recommended the Rotring 600, Barry Levitt recommended the Caran d'Ache, and Jamie Leadham recommended the Tombow Air Press. So thank you for those recommendations. I actually like all 3 of those pens quite a bit. So again, as I mentioned, these are in order from least expensive to most expensive. The Polka Pen here is going to run you about $2.50 per pen. Unfortunately, you cannot buy these individually. At least I have not found them packaged that way. So you're going to pay about 20 bucks for a pack of 8, which equal, about $2.50 roughly per pen. And then the Rotring 600, which is a fantastic pen. When I bought this, and I actually bought 2, here's another one in black, they were $20 per pen. The price has since gone up to $30. So just FYI, they were kind of in my $20 range when I bought them, but the prices have gone up because these are extremely popular, were discontinued for a while, and by popular demand, they came back to market. And so they're just kind of sought after is the way I understand it. So that's a $30 pen and kind of everything in between. So let's talk a little bit about each pen. And I'll start by saying that every pen on the table is a ballpoint. None of them are gel pens. None of them are fountain pens. They're all ballpoint pens. The majority of them are going to have like a clicky mechanism. There's a couple that don't, but most of them are clickies. And the vast majority of them have pocket clips. So yeah, let's start on the left, least expensive, move to the right, and just give a little more detail. So the Polka Pen, USA made. It is plastic and it is disposable. It is the only disposable pen on the table. Everything else is refillable with additional cartridges, with the exception of the Polka Pen. It is a 0.7 millimeter point. It is 3.5 inches, or I'm sorry, 3.25 inches in length, and weighs 1/4 of an ounce. And yes, I did use my digital micrometers and my digital scale to measure each and every pen, both for its length in its most compact position and for its weight. So that's the Polka Pen. Next is the Zebra F-301. This is a favorite of mine. This one happens to be in kind of their gold color. This is a 0.7 millimeter ballpoint as well. It is a clicky. And these are around the same price, actually. They're about $2.50 a piece. If you buy a 2-pack, they're like $3 each. If you buy a 10-pack, they're obviously going to be a little cheaper. It's mostly stainless, does have some plastic there towards the grip and up here near the clicky. And it weighs about 0.35 ounces and is going to be about just over 5 inches in length. So that's the Zebra F-301. Next is the Zebra F-402, another Zebra that I like quite a bit, another 0.7 millimeter ballpoint. This one has an excellent pocket clip. Really like the clip on this one. It carries exceptionally well, accommodates thicker materials, got that kind of little ball detent almost there. All stainless except for the rubberized grip insert, which makes this super comfortable for a longer session of writing. And the 402 is going to cost you about $3. So you can get a 2-pack of these for like $6. So for $3, that's an excellent choice. Next up is the F-301 Compact. We can see that there, F-301 Compact. And the way this works is you simply pull it apart, rotate this over, and it becomes a full-size pen, very similar to the 301 that we just looked at. And I like these quite a bit. It's got a true deep carry pocket clip that also will accommodate some thicker material, little lanyard loop up there, mostly stainless, a little bit of plastic. It is refillable, and I like these quite a bit. It's a fun pen. It's a good size, pretty easy to stick in a bag, in a pocket. Again, 0.7 millimeters, 3.85 inches in its compact position, and it weighs just under a half an ounce. Next up is the Zebra SL-F1 Mini. This is a retractable pen. So the way this works is you simply pull it and it exposes the ballpoint tip, and when you close it, it goes away. So this is, again, 0.7 millimeter ballpoint. It is going to be 3.3 inches closed. This is made from aluminum, and it weighs about 0.4 ounces and costs $5. So that's a $5 pen. So if you really want to save some space, this is a pretty small guy, but even with big hands, when it's opened up, I can actually write with this pretty easily. And it also has a decent pocket clip. For its size, it carries really well. It'll fit on a pair of jeans, so not bad there on the Zebra SL-F1. Then we've got the F701. I did a whole video on this pen, so we'll just go ahead and skip that for now. Next up is the Tombow Air Press, and this pen is going to cost you about $8. I think these are made in the USA, but I'm not positive. It is mostly plastic construction with sort of a rubber overmold. So there you can see Air Press. This has an excellent pocket clip. It's a clicky, of course. This is also a 0.7 millimeter. Very comfy, but this pocket clip I really, really enjoy because it carries so well. It's kind of, made to accommodate thicker material, but it's also, it articulates, right? So it's on a spring, so it can open up. So if it gets caught on something, it's just going to kind of spring open. It's not going to rip off. And, you can put it on a notebook or a notepad. So I really like that. Also has a little kind of lanyard loop there. Clicky pen. This one is under 5 inches in length. So it's kind of in a unique size category, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But this is 4.8 inches in length and about a half an ounce. And again, that's only going to cost you about $8. It is refillable and it is pressurized. So it's going to act very similar to a Fisher Space Pen. So that is the Tombow Air Press. Next is the pen that was coveted by many in middle school. I know, at least when I went to school, if you didn't have a Parker Jotter, you were a nobody. These things were super popular. They've been around forever. Here's the box that mine happened to come in. And this one in particular cost me $10. It is a medium point, as you can see, refillable ballpoint, and they've been around since 1888. $10 for a very satisfying clicking sound. If you're about the fidget factor, this one, in my opinion, by far has the best click to it. So again, that's about a $10 pen, medium point, 5 inches in length, and about a half an ounce. So the classic Parker Jotter. Next up is my least favorite pen on the table. This is the Zebra X-701 ballpoint, 0.7 millimeters. I don't like this pen. The pocket clip is terrible. There's like no clearance, and it's got a little lanyard loop there. Let me show you the packaging for this pen real quick. So here it is. So it comes in there, and you'll notice down here it says non-reflective stainless steel. It comes with 2 refills, which is nice, and the cost on this is about $12. So for $12, you're getting those 2 additional refills and the pen. So So that's how it would ship to you. It says that it has a pressurized barrel. It says that it is certified military grade using whatever that military standard is, that will operate up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit down to -30. This one's also a 0.7 millimeter fine tip. I find it to be extraordinarily cheap feeling. The kind of matte, stainless body does not continue all the way down. This is plastic. It is not grippy whatsoever, and I just really don't like this pen. So this one, the X-701, by far for me is my least favorite. I would not recommend it. For 12 bucks, I would take a hard pass on the 701, the X-701. Next up is the Caran d'Ache. This is a little fancier. It's made in Switzerland, and this one's silver. Here's one in black. And these go for about $16 or $17. They come in a number of different colors: blue, purple, yellow, you name it. But it is called the Caran d'Ache, which you may be able to see under there if I get just the right light. Caran d'Ache. Again, Swiss made. It is a good quality pen, about 17 bucks. It's got that hexagonal shaped body, almost looks like a pencil. It's a medium tip, 5 inches in length, and about a ½ ounce. It has not a very satisfying click. Very kind of anticlimactic, I think, on the clicking action. It has a good pocket clip. I like the design. It carries well. It accommodates pretty thick material. It just doesn't carry super deep. So if that matters to you, take note of it. Also, the way it's designed here, kind of being more like a pencil towards the tip, it's just not the most grippy in the world, but for basic EDC stuff like signing something at a doctor's office or a check, I think it's a great option, and it is all metal construction. Very good quality, again, made in Switzerland. So that is the Caran d'Ache. And again, that was recommended by Barry Levitt, the Air Press by Jamie Leadham, and the Rotring, which we'll get to, by J.D. Shadow. Here's the Fisher Space Pen. I think we're all familiar with this pen. This is not the standard bullet pen. This is called the X Mark. The only difference being is that it doesn't have the kind of bullet shape on both ends. It is flat on one side, and it comes with a pocket clip. And I don't like the pocket clip. It does not accommodate material very well. So I don't ever carry this in like a jeans pocket. They're good in like an EDC caddy or maybe in an EDC bag. But for me, I think the Fisher Space Pen, personally, and this is just my opinion, is a little overrated. These go for about 18 bucks. And I think most of us are familiar with the Fisher Space Pen. Not a bad pen. They write well. It's a pressurized cartridge, obviously. I just think they're a little overrated, personally, for what they are, but that is the Fisher Space Pen. And then lastly is the Rotring 600, which we talked briefly about earlier. Here it is again in black. When I purchased these, they were 20 bucks a piece. The price has since gone up to 30. So these, again, not currently kind of in my $20 sweet spot, but a very, very well-constructed pen. Rotring is a German company, and these are manufactured in Japan. They also make some really high-end pencils. It's got the hexagonal shape like we saw on the Caran d'Ache. Some really, really well-done knurling down here where you would grip the pen. The pocket clip is okay. It carries decent. Again, not going to accommodate super thick material, but it would fit well on a t-shirt, or not t-shirt, but just a shirt pocket, for example, or like an EDC bag. It's got a pretty satisfying click, and there is your ballpoint right there. So this is definitely more of a precision ballpoint. I like the fact that where you grip it, the distance is a little greater from there to the ballpoint, and that it's pretty thin. So this would be good for like sketching. If you like to sketch, this would be great. I think these are very popular with people who work, who do a lot of drafting, architects, things like that. So that is the Rotring 600, again, about 30 bucks. And I do really like it. So that's the sampling. So let's give some awards. I'm going to give awards for, most economical, which one writes the best, best overall. I think I have like 6 or 7 categories. So let's go through those, and I'll tell you what my thoughts are on kind of how these pens stack up. And then at the end, I'll do a quick test of kind of each pen so you can see how it actually writes. So let's start with most economical. So I'm going to give this award to the F301 from Zebra. I really like these pens. They write really well, and it's not disposable. It's, you know, mostly metal construction, has an okay pocket clip, but for about $2.50 a piece, if you were to buy like a 10 pack, I think it's an excellent value at that price. Or even if you just buy a 2-pack for $6, I think the value to quality ratio is much higher on this pen than it is, for example, on the Polka Pen, which is about the same price. So most economical award for me goes to the Zebra F301. So that is the first award of the evening. If I can get the Polka Pen to hold still. Come on now. All right, so next award is going to be most comfortable. Most comfortable award. All right, Polka, you're driving me crazy. I'm going to put you over here. Stay. Most comfortable is going to be the Zebra F-402. This rubber here is comfortable. It's just inherently, cushiony. So, again, for longer writing sessions, hands down among these, the most comfortable for me is the Zebra F402. And it also happens to have one of the best clips of the entire lineup. So the F402 from Zebra is the most comfy. And I think we said that was what, like a $4 or $5 pen? No, $3. A $3 pen. So that's pretty incredible. What's next? Let's do best clip. So the best clip award is going to go to the Tombow Air Press, because I just love that it accommodates a lot of, thick material. I love that it's spring loaded to accommodate really any size material. And it's just a cool design. I really enjoy that. It's unique. I kind of like the wire clip aspect of it. A close second place would be like the Zebra F series, like the F701 has a great clip. The F402 that we just looked at also has a great clip. So the F series from Zebra have decent clips, but the number one for me is the Tombow Air Press. So best clip, Tombow. Let's do most durable next. Most durable is going to be the Rotring 600 and the Zebra F701. These are literally the heaviest, and they're both all metal construction, and they're tanks. They've got weight to them. They've got kind of thicker bodies to them in terms of like the actual gauge, it feels like. So these for sure out of this group are going to be my most durable. I might even give it to the Rotring as overall most durable, and maybe a close second would be the F701. But those are my awards for most durable. So let's set those aside. And I've been using and testing these pens for like over a month. I posted a picture of some of these on Instagram like well over a month ago. And I'm just finally now collecting all my thoughts and getting around to doing the actual video. So that's that. I am going to get this Polka Pen to hold still, if it's the last thing I do. Booyah. All right, next award is going to be for fanciest. Which one's the fanciest? I'm going to have to give it to the Parker Jitter, just because, it's got the embellished, pocket clip, and it's just a classic. They come in all different kinds of fancy chromes and gold plated and stuff like that. So it's definitely the fanciest of the bunch. It's got the most satisfying click and is probably the least functional in terms of actually writing. I find that my hand slips too far forward because there is zero grip or texture whatsoever, and I don't really love that. So the Parker Jitter for me is not all it's cracked up to be. For an EDC pen, I would pick several others before I would pick that one. Now let's do best overall. What do I think is the best overall EDC pen? In my opinion, of these 12, it would be kind of a tie between these two right here. The beloved F-701 from Zebra and the Tombow Air Press. I really came to enjoy this pen so much. It carries really well. It's super lightweight. The Air Press, I believe, is a ½ ounce, whereas the 701 is getting closer to like 3/4 of an ounce, which doesn't seem like a big difference. But when you hold the two in your hand, it's like this one feels like a feather and this one feels like a brick. But I just really like this pen. The Air Press writes very well, carries well, and then the 701 is just, it's a classic. I love it. I always will. So best overall for me are these two right here. And again, you can get one of these Tombows for about $8. So for a, in my opinion, kick-ass EDC pen, $8, you can't go wrong with the Tombow. And you can get these in white, and you can also get them in clear. I chose the black, obviously, and then the 701s, they're like $5-6 a piece. So very economical on those two. So those are my best overall. Let's do a real quick write test so you can see what the lines look like that these produce. And we'll start with the Polka Pen, and we'll just kind of do a squiggly. Not a bad line for a $2.50 pen. Next we'll do the F301 from Zebra. I really like the way these write quite a bit. Next up is the F-402, the nice comfy one with the rubber grip. Almost identical line to the F301 because it's the same actual refill. The F301 Compact should have still a kind of similar line to the ones we just saw. The Zebra SL-F1. So as you can see, those are all looking very similar because they're all from Zebra and they're all essentially the same cartridge. Here's the F701. So there's those. Here's the Tombow, one of my best overalls. Nice smooth line. All of these produce really smooth, consistent lines. I don't really have any issues with the way any of these write. You know, comfort is going to be kind of another story, depending on preference. Like this one, like that was not enjoyable at all for me to do with the Jitter, but that's just personal preference. Here's the X-701, which again, I would just take a hard pass if you happen to see that one. Then we've got the Caran d'Ache, which writes really, really well. I love the way these write. It has the least satisfying click of all these pens. It's so anticlimactic, but it's got a good pocket clip. It looks really nice and it writes really, really nicely. I really like the lines that these produce. The Fisher Space Pen, which again, I think is maybe just a tad overrated. They're super convenient, you know, for their size and kind of how they can be carried. So I'm not taking anything away from the Space Pen. Just for me, it would not be my first, second, or third choice for an EDC pen. And then lastly, the Rotring 600. So there is that. So as you can see, like none of these, at least to me, jump out as like, oh my gosh, look how terrible that one line is and how amazing, you know, the others are. So, you know, from a $2.50 Polka Pen to a $30 Rotring 600, you're getting a decent line, and that's what I like about ballpoints is they're pretty smooth to write with, and as long as you, at least in my experience, as long as you kind of find some scratch paper and just kind of do one of those guys before you really start writing, you'll typically get a nice, smooth, consistent line from a ballpoint, and that's why I prefer ballpoint over gel pens, fountain pens, things like that. So there is our pile, our EDC pen extravaganza. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't considered carrying a pen for EDC, maybe you saw one here that struck your fancy, I will do my best to remember to leave links for each and every pen in the description below. If I forget, I apologize. Maybe leave a comment reminding me and I can go back and do it. But all of these are available on Amazon.com, and that is where I purchased every single one of them. So that is the EDC Pen Extravaganza for 2019. Thank you guys so much for watching, and congratulations to our winners, the Tombow Air Press and the Zebra F-701. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.